think I can add this. Hello, everybody. How are we all doing today? Happy Valentine's Day. You know, it's a very beautiful day to just admire things we love. Today, I went to Barnes& Noble. I had a relaxing day out. Picked up some stuff I was gonna read tonight. I got this one. I read a few chapters of this. It's all right. It's got its problems, but it's okay. It's kind of interesting. This one, which I'm really excited to read. I love Nabari no O. Got a whole video essay coming out on that series, and I love to see what Yuki Kamitani does. I've been getting into like more of like Western comics. I got this one here. I've heard this is pretty good. This is supposed to be pretty good. It was either this or like I could like experience something new. I've been playing Final Fantasy X, and it's been great. It's been lovely. I got like a screenplay for like a class I'm working on that I could have gotten done. I could have worked on that Nabari no O video, and like all of those would have been productive uses of my time. But Critical Drinker dropped a review of he dropped a review of Captain America Brave New World. Shit. I did not prep this. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Critical Drinker is one of those YouTubers. He is very obviously a grifter, only talks about big budget Hollywood movies, despite talking about how he breaks down modern Hollywood. I drink and say things. I'm here to deliver reviews, breakdowns, and analysis of modern entertainment media. By modern entertainment media, he means action movies, and maybe the odd fantasy or something, or just something that everyone is saying is woke. That's his whole thing. He's very much in the go woke or go broke campaign. He is in. Sorry, I had fucking Shake Shack earlier. It was delicious. I can't believe I'm ruining that meal with this shit. But yeah, no, that's his deal. He complains about things being woke and how cinema is dead. Funny, Critical Drinker, how Fantastic Four, possibly too little too late. Just like the last times you said the MCU was dead. Oh, except here, you see this one. Oh, of course, it's got the fucking She-Hulk and some dead meme. God, fucking let it go, man. But yeah, no. He pretends to talk about modern media and then like gives the most basic bitch take while trying to say while it's woke. And I've been wanting to do a video on Critical Drinker for a long time because I love trash. But unfortunately, unlike Critical Drinker, I actually watch more than one genre of movie, and I kind of have stayed away from a lot of big Hollywood releases, or at least like the ones that I've seen out of these, I'm not super passionate about. I love this movie. This is a good movie. I watched a bit of it, and I was thinking of doing a video on it, but there wasn't. He wasn't really giving me anything. Wicked's all right. I like Wicked, I guess. Star Wars. I don't care enough about Star Wars to keep talking about it, but this Captain America: A Brave New World. I saw this movie last night, and I have never been a big Captain America guy. I get the appeal. I think Steve Rogers as a character has its moments. I think he has his moments. Those movies all have their moments, but I think the first movie is mid as fuck. I do not care for Winter Soldier. That's just a personal thing because spy thrillers and those types of action movies don't really do it for me. But I can see why it's a lot of people's favorite Captain America movie. Some people say it's one of the best MCU movies, and I think that's a fair opinion to have. It ain't mine. Civil War was really good up until a few days ago when I read the comic for the first time, and now I don't think I can go back because the comic is actually that good. I'm not even a big Marvel comics reader, and I fucking loved not Fantastic Four. I fucking loved Civil War. I thought it was great. So I don't know how I feel about it. It has been a while since I've seen the movie, but most importantly, I have never liked Falcon, and I watched that stupid fucking Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, and it was like so boring, so much wasted potential. It starts off so strong, and then just like nosedives by the time the second episode is done. And I saw the trailers for this. I thought it looked interesting, but I wasn't fully convinced. But I had nothing to do last night, so I went there, ran into a super nice guy in the parking lot. And by ran into, I mean I hit his car. Nevertheless, I had a good time. I actually kind of like this movie. I have my issues with it. And I think the reviews it's been getting, I think I think a lot of the takes are valid. But I know Critical Drinkers is not going to be. So let's just get this started. I want to have fun. I want to revel in garbage.
Hello, Mark Barden here from Sandy Heard Promise.
Sorry, it's a little.
On December 14th,
Here we go.
At one point near the end of Brave New World, Sam Wilson uses Captain America's shield.
Hang on a second. Let me just go full screen. Okay. Looks good.
At one point near the end of Brave New World, Sam Wilson uses Captain America's shield, Ant-Man's helmet, and Falcon's wings made from Black Panther's vibranium to fight a not-so-incredible Red Hulk. And so, for the purposes of this review, I'm going to refer to him as Captain Black Ant Falcon Man from...
Hey! Take a shot every time Drinker says something that is racist, but it's not racist enough to the point where you can, like, just point at him and, like, yeah, it's obvious. Like, he's good at just being just racist enough so that people will be like, well, Critical Drinker is not racist. He just doesn't like when woke politics are shoved down his throat. But, like, look, come the fuck on. Also, I'm sorry, pausing it already. Only 17 seconds into it, but he's giving me so much gold here. So let's break that down for a second.
So from uses Captain America's shield, Ant-Man's helmet, and Falcon's wings made from Black Panther.
Okay. Captain America's shield, because he's now Captain America. Ant-Man's mask. I guess it like kind of looks like Ant-Man's mask. I guess. Like, I don't know. Most superheroes have masks, and I guess is the mask kind of a boring design? Hang on. Let me
fight a not so incredible and Falcon's wing. Sam Wilson uses Captain America's shield, Ant-Man's helmet.
Great editing. I can't even fucking make fun of it and pull up Captain Ant-Man's helmet. But like, yeah, helmet design, it's like not very good, but I don't know. Who fucking cares? Like, he doesn't even have it on for most of the movie. Black Panther's wings. Yeah, that's called world building. When you have like an indestructible metal in your universe that like absorbs vibration, and your character has interacted with a character who uses that technology, like no fucking shit, he's gonna have it. Also, I'd like to point out that if we're talking about being derivative in your abilities, let's take Steve Rogers for a second. His shield is made out of his shield, Captain America, Steve Rogers' shield, is made of vibranium. And the serum was created by Tony Stark's dad. But like, yeah, no, I guess, sure, why not? Yeah, fuck it. Let's keep going.
And Falcon's wings made from Black Panther's vibranium to fight a not so incredible Red Hulk. And so for the purposes of this review, I'm going to refer to him as Captain Black Ant Falcon Man from now on. Partly because there's only ever going to be one Captain America for me, and that's Steve Rogers. But
okay, hot take incoming. Y'all gotta let go of Steve Rogers. He is not as interesting of a character as y'all think. I'm not saying he's bad, but like, if Steve Rogers is the bar for like what can be Captain America, like that is a low fucking bar. That is like such an uninteresting way of looking at things.
Because I can't think of a more fitting metaphor for what this movie is. A jumbled mishmash of different ideas and storylines ripped off from other, better Marvel characters and films. A movie that's clearly been hacked.
I'm sorry, but the editing, cutting to Incredible Hulk and referring to it as a better characters and better a better story. Like, name one thing that happens in Incredible Hulk. Name one character in Incredible Hulk. Like, that movie is fucking dog water. That is like, it's not even like a funny bad movie. It's just a generic like movie where the Hulk runs around and beats shit up and there's like boring science talk like interspliced between it. And I'm not saying like Brave New World is like an amazing movie, but it's certainly better than Incredible Hulk.
Ripped off from other better Marvel characters and films. A movie that
Was that shit? I literally instinctively cut out of rage. Hang on a second. Not even rage. This movie's fucking wild. Jesus, it is hot in this apartment. I turned the AC on so like background noise wouldn't interfere because my AC is loud as fuck, but like it is toasty as hell in here. Sorry, let me just get back to where we were. Okay, here we go. Share screen. I can't believe they made Captain America so fucking uninteresting.
been hacked to pieces and reassembled more times than Frankenstein's monster, complete with all the boring, played-out tropes you'd expect from an MCU that's been drifting rudderless for the past 5 years. A bunch of characters and subplots that go absolutely nowhere, and that doesn't seem to know what it is, and more importantly, why it even exists. And having spent 2 hours slogging my way through it, I can't really tell you either. In short, Captain Black Ant Falcon Man Brave New World is everything we feared it would be. A bloated, overblown, inconsistent mess. Anyway, I don't want to have to waste any more time talking about this than I have to, so without further ado...
Let's get this over quickly.
The centers around the fight.
Take another shot. You see, I unfortunately do not have any alcohol on me. If I did, though, I could have made this the greatest drinking game. So we already got racism earlier with the fucking Captain Black Ant Falcon Man. Take a shot whenever there's like vague racism, and take a shot every time there's a very poorly edited movie reference that goes on way too long and is like super out of touch. Like,
to waste any more time talking about this than I have to, so without further ado...
Let's get this over quickly.
What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? That's like, it's not funny. It's just a reference. Like, Critical Drinker, you have, how many subscribers does it have? Yeah, 2.2 million, and you can't even do a Family Guy cutaway, right? Like, come the fuck on. Like, do better.
The movie centers around the fight for control of the Celestial that exploded out of the Indian Ocean in the Eternals. I mean, it's only taken them like 5 years to address this gigantic plot hole, but whatever. Better late than never, I guess.
The plot hole that, like, okay. This is a pet peeve of mine. And this isn't just Critical Drinker, this is for all of you. Yeah, even you, Mike. Plot hole is like, please learn what the word plot hole means. I am begging you, because something going unaddressed, the Celestial. Now, I do agree, like, took him a bit long to like get around to this. Now, granted, MCU has been going through like weird like delays and stuff, so like it doesn't really bother me that much, but it is weird that like the events of Eternals like just weren't brought up in any other movie. But also, I don't think they really needed, like, I don't think most of them needed this. Like, would Spider-Man No Way Home or Deadpool and Wolverine or Guardians 3, like you think the Guardians give a fuck about the Celestial landing here? You think Deadpool cares? You think any of the I think some of the shows like could have definitely benefited from that, because I think the shows are easily the weakest link and why so many people have lost interest with the MCU. And I think one of the biggest problems with this movie that I also think is one of its greatest strengths is that it is tied to so many things in the MCU. Like, I do like that it takes so much from Incredible Hulk, Eternals, sets up X-Men, like borrows stuff from Captain America. Like, I like that kind of world building, but I do think that is coming from the perspective of someone who actually watched all these stupid ass movies and shows. And I can imagine if you like walked into this having either like not seen Incredible Hulk and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or like if it's been a while because it's way back in 2008. But I don't know. I think that's like an interesting thing about it. But I do understand the criticism. But yeah, no, it's not a plot hole if it's just something that doesn't matter in the first place.
The Celestial exploded out of the Indian Ocean in the Eternals. I mean, it's only taken them like 5 years to address this gigantic plot hole, but whatever. Better late than never, I guess. Anyway, because the Celestial's body contains enormous reserves of adamantium, a mineral which is even more invincible than vibranium. Oh, does someone not have a monopoly on the world's most valuable resource now?
Hey, thinly veiled racism, take a shot number 2. Yeah, that's like so creepy and weird. Like getting mad at like a fictional continent, like fucking continent. I can't speak. Getting mad at a fictional country because you think they said they were better than you. Like that is such a weird thing to bring up. Like, you're really mad? You're mad at Wakanda? You're mad at guys. I gotta tell you, these Wakandans, they're taking all our jobs, they're taking all our resources. I'm so pissed off at the Wakandans. that's what Trump's tariffs really need to be focused on. Not Mexico, not Canada. No, we gotta be focusing on getting the vibranium out of Wakanda and making sure they don't have a monopoly. Like, what the fuck? It's all fictional. Why do you take it this seriously?
Pass me the world's smallest fucking violin. There's now a bit of a gold rush to claim ownership of it, spearheaded by General Ross, who's now been promoted to President of the United States. His goal is to sign an agreement with Japan to share access to the Celestial, and the two countries are close to making a deal. Unfortunately, it all goes tits up during a White House dinner when
Okay, take a shot for every just weird bit of slang used, because like he does this a lot too. I have not heard anyone since like 2015 use the phrase tits up. I actually have never heard that phrase used in general because I'm normal and not stuck in 2011 thinking like, oh no, the feminists are taking over. Don't get your panties in a wad, ladies. Like shut the fuck up, man. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck does that even? Why? Okay, I need to stop or I will be here all night and I really need to turn the AC on. It is so fucking hot in here.
Brad leads an attack of the Galloping Crazies and tries to assassinate him, only to forget the whole thing after he's captured. Captain Black Ant Falcon Man believes that he was mind-controlled into attacking Ross, and he's determined to clear his name, so he begins his own investigation that soon leads him to a classified black site where he conveniently runs into Giant Brain Man, a test subject exposed to gamma radiation that caused him to get super smart, which Ross then exploited for his own personal gain. Oh yeah, and this small child shows up for like 5 minutes to give us the obligatory girl boss moment.
Very thickly veiled misogynism. Take a drink every time that happens.
And then basically does nothing for the rest of the movie. You've often heard me joke about petite actresses beating the shit out of
thick. Oh god, okay, that one was like that cringe. Like that. I mean, yes, it was from like the misogyny, but also I fucking hate the word petite. Like everyone, like I know a lot of people get upset when they hear the word moist. That is me with the word petite. I don't like that word, and I'm like if you listen to me, this is a lesson to anyone who knows me. If you ever use the word petite in front of me, especially when referring to like someone specifically, like get the fuck out of my face. You are not welcome. I'm kidding. If you know me, you're chill if you do that shit, but like also like that I don't know why. I don't know why that word like icks me so much, but it does. That is my moist.
Guys twice their size, but in this case, it's literally true. If she's more than 5 feet tall and weighs more than 90 pounds, I would be fucking shocked. But don't worry, I'll talk more about her later.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Will Jordan talk about this woman in ways that are totally not insanely creepy and misogynistic towards this person. Like who fucking cares? She's short. So is like fucking Peter Dinklage and everyone loves him. Like I now this is not me saying this lady was a very interesting character in the movie because I don't really even remember her name. I thought she was fine. I guess she had like a cool fight scene. And I kind of forgot she was in it halfway through the movie because she does kind of drop in relevance. I think the first half of this movie is like really good at setting up all the characters, and I do think it drops the ball with a lot of them in the second half, just not utilizing them in a lot of interesting ways because I don't remember anything she does in like the second half of the movie. But she was fine, and like he has just this weird hyperfixation on like, oh, women, I can't believe they're making movies where women are being able to destroy men in fights. If this was in real life, one punch would snap a woman's neck, which for one just isn't how biology works. Like, yes, it is proven that women have like bodily structures that are different to men. They have different hormones that like influence like physical strength, but that is mostly just genetic stuff. Like it is absolutely possible for a woman to survive a fist fight with a man. Like it's not that difficult, my guy. You don't just go up to a woman, slap her once, and then she instantly dies and falls in the Family Guy falling pose. Like that's just not how it works. Also, I don't know if you know about this, but it is a Captain America movie. It is fictional. Short woman can beat up a bunch of guys if the script wants to because it is fictional. And one of the most popular tropes in action media is the short person who beats up all the big strong guys. It's called subverting expectations. It is a classic narrative trick that has been used since the dawn of time, you fucking buffoon. Jesus Christ, okay.
Believe that. Anyway, Giant Brain Man engineered the whole thing to provoke a war between America and Japan, and with the two opposing battle fleets closing in on the Celestial, Captain Black Ant Falcon Man races to the scene to stop them. Jesus, as if Japan would even think about challenging the US military for control of anything.
Oh. Wait, hold on. Okay, so that comment there, that was why I wanted to make this. Because I got to this point in the video, and I realized, okay, this is too good. Because here's another drink you can take. Every time he gets weird about the US military, despite this man being Irish, like this is something I've noticed with like hack YouTubers, like because it's the same thing with Lily Orchard, who's Canadian. Like why do you give a fuck about the US like so much? You don't even live there. Like calm the fuck down. At least Lily Orchard's doing it because yeah, queer people live in the US and they get screwed over a lot, and I think most people should have health care. I don't agree with shit Lily Orchard says, but it makes more sense than like, oh, as an Irishman, I am so proud of my military, the US military to be specific. Like it's this like I don't believe Critical Drinker means any of the shit he says. Okay, I think he means some of it, but like he's very obviously a grifter. He's coming after the US average American moviegoer who's so sick of all these women and the black people being put in our movies and replacing our heroes. oh no, a woman is replacing Indiana Jones, even though she's not. She's a side character in that movie. Oh no, there's a black lady as the Man in Black, even though Chris Hemsworth is there too. So like, who gives a shit? But like, it's this weird obsession with like the U.S. military and just wanting everything to be military propaganda for a country you don't even live in. Also, like, I'm assuming he is referring to like the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If when he's saying like, oh, to think the U.S. To think Japan would take on the U.S. in military conflict. I don't know if you know this, Critical Drinker, but the only reason the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki happened in the first place was because they were taking on the US. Also, once again, this is a fictional universe where there are fucking superheroes around, so I don't know. US politics and Japanese relationships are probably a bit different. Like, just I love that, like, I love how these critics are like able to suspend their disbelief only when it's a movie that like panders to them. Like, oh, Tom Cruise hanging off the side of a plane is unrealistic for like most people, and most people would have probably had their fucking face ripped off. Well, that's fine because he's a dude. Like, that's totally cool. But when Japan when Japan challenges the US, that is where I draw the line. It's that fucking Community bit. Like, I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty. You can excuse racism. Like, where is your fucking imagination? Like, who cares?
Well, Captain Black Ant Falcon Man is able to defuse the situation by strategically kicking missiles out of the air, and then everyone goes home and Ross gives a speech to celebrate, but then it turns out that the heart attack pills he's been taking the whole movie are actually gamma radiation pills, which Giant Brain Man uses to turn him into Red Hulk.
Right.
And yes, I'm being absolutely serious with this. And there's a bit of a fight with
It's like a fucking superhero movie. When the superhero movie has the superhero in it, like, that is not unreasonable. Ant-Man threw Thomas the Tank Engine at a fucking Yellow Jacket. Like, and you draw the line at Harrison Ford Hulkman. Like, yeah, the scene, like, it's not handled the best, but like, what is so implausible in the Marvel universe that like you think Harrison Ford turning into a Hulk is like that abnormal? Like fucking Infinity War, like a wizard fights a big purple man who collects magic rocks and they reverse time on each other, and he throws a planet at Robert Downey Jr. Like it's not that complicated, my guy. Like, you're making up shit to be annoyed about because there's a black guy superhero. Like, that's literally it. There's nothing to it other than it's another Marvel movie. This one didn't get good reviews, so I need to make a review saying it's bad to line myself up with the general consensus. So in order to do that, because I can't find that much that's actually wrong about it, like, I'll just make shit up. Just make shit up to be annoyed about.
which destroys the White House, and Captain Black Ant Falcon Man asks him to stop being the Hulk because the writers couldn't think of any other way to get out of it. So he turns back into Harrison Ford, and then everyone goes home. And that's it. That's the plot for Captain Black Ant Falcon Brave.
You know what? I won't give him this, but I can't say I disagree. Like, the way he talks down Harrison Ford it's not the worst thing ever, but it is kind of strange. I think this movie has some tonal stuff like that's kind of weird because most of the time it is pretty corny and it knows it. I actually like that this movie's dialogue is very reminiscent of something like the first Avengers movie. It's very tongue-in-cheek a lot of the time. I do think it gets a bit more serious towards the second half, so having Ant-Man stand in front of the cherry blossoms holding his hand out to Harrison Ford Hulk and being like, I believe you've changed. You can stop now. Like, yeah, it's corny. It's corny. I don't think it ruins it. And I mean, like, but the thing is, like, they could have found a way to defeat Hulk because Captain America does defeat the Hulk in the movie. Like, he comes back for a little bit, but he incapacitates him for like a few hours at least. Like, it's sorry, Shake Shack again. Like, it's not that complicated. Once again, you're making up stuff to be annoyed about, or at least exaggerating it heavily.
Brave New Worlds.
Critical Drinker drinking game challenge number 4 or whatever the fuck we're on. Every time there's a really annoying shit joke with just the most rancid sound you can think of. Like, I get your bit is that, oh, you're a bumbling Irishman, but the thing is, you can't be the bumbling Irishman and then try to like have us take you seriously when you have like the worst Dumb and Dumber reference in this possible. Like, we get it. You watched movies in the 80s and 90s. So did most of the people in America. Like, fucking hell.
You know, when I think about the tortuous production process this movie had, all the rewrites and reshoots that it went through, it's actually hard to imagine what Brave New World even started out as. I mean, the overall tone is vaguely in line with Winter Soldier. There was clearly an attempt to ground it in something resembling reality, with all the government conspiracies, classified projects, black ops missions, and the looming threat of global war. The problem is, it also has to work in ridiculous bullshit like the continent-sized Celestial sticking out of the ocean and the Red Hulk, and those elements together about as well as intersectional feminism and reason, logic, and personal accountability.
Okay, hold the fuck on, because I was gonna make a joke about how Winter Soldier has like a fucking giant helicarrier like crashing into Washington D.C. and even Captain America 1 has an evil Nazi named Red Skull who is a man with a red skull. What the fuck was that? What does that even mean? Hang on a second.
About as well as intersectional feminism and reason, logic, and personal accountability.
Those were just words, like intersectional feminism and like reasonable accountability. Like, I guess like the feminists aren't accountable for their actions because feminists are the ones destroying the nation, I guess. Guys, 9/11 was an inside job. Like, it wasn't Al-Qaeda. The feminists did it. But they're not taking accountability for it, and that it's disappeared. The Capitol raid, that was all the feminists, that was all the liberals, it was those woke libtards who fucking stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Like what the fuck? You just want to be edgy, but Critical Drinker, that is the stuff I was saying in middle school in like 2015, back when it was cool to hate women and it was funny when the feminists got mad. The difference is I grew the fuck up. How old is critical drinker age? Yet this is a 40-year-old man and he's still talking like this and putting shit jokes like that in here and doing like Family Guy cutaways to like 80s movies. Like, this man is a fucking child. He makes videos for the stupidest, most impressionable people, and people shit. Like, how many views is already over 1 million views? Like, there are so many YouTubers, so much effort into film reviews and just videos in general, but like, you get by just doing the bare minimum. You complain about the feminists and the black peoples, and you talk about how modern Hollywood and superhero movies are dying, even though there's 3 fucking Marvel movies coming out this year. So I'm sorry, buddy. That's not what dying means. Are they increasing in quality? Absolutely. And it's why I don't usually go to see them that often. But like, the sentiment that Marvel is dead or will be dead soon is fucking insanity to me. because because it's always nothing. It just means the movies have gotten worse, which is just what happens when something's been going along for a long time. Saying the MCU is dead is like saying The Simpsons is dead. Like, yeah, The Simpsons isn't good anymore, although new seasons have actually been pretty good. But bottom line, for a long time, The Simpsons have not been good. And they debatably still aren't. It depends on it depends on how you think how you feel about that. But saying it's dead when it's still like one of the most profitable franchises in the US, like that's just ludicrous. That's insane.
You can't take the themes and emotional tone of the Eternals and Winter Soldier and mash them together in one movie and expect it to make sense.
Yeah, that's why they didn't. Do you know what themes mean? Theme is just like the underlying narrative behind a story. Themes are just like the moral of this stuff. This movie is not similar to Eternals in theme or tone or whatever you want to call it. It just has the big stupid giant in it. Like this movie has so little to do with Eternals. Like I don't know what you mean. Please, you've written so many books. How do you not know what theme means?
And as always, the devil is definitely in the detail here. First up, there's the antagonist. Instead of an understandable villain trying to bring about world peace by eliminating everyone who could oppose his agenda, furthering the movie's central theme of security versus freedom in Winter Soldier, we've instead got just another generic supervillain out for revenge. Motives and ultimate goals are as bare bones as the withered husk was once Ariana Grande, and as much as
Jesus Christ. Okay. Once again, I was actually going to agree with them on this one because I think, yeah, the villain, like, I think the guy playing him is doing a pretty good job. I think as a character, he's kind of weak. I think he's fine. He has a sympathetic enough of a backstory, and his actor, I don't remember who plays him, but he gives a good performance that fits his dialogue. I think he's fine. Of course, he had to ruin it with a very weird and like sexually charged comment about Ariana Grande's body, which is gross. Like, stop. Also, were you saying the villain from Winter Soldier was understandable? That man brought a fucking helicarrier and tried to crash it into Washington, D.C. Like, that is not... Like, that dude literally tried to do Super 9/11. That is not an understandable villain. Was it, like, maybe his motivations were reasonable? I don't know. It has been a while since I've seen that movie because I watch more stuff than just superhero movies, unlike the fucking critical drinker who can only watch something if it has a gun in it. But, like, saying that, like, this guy, boo. But the fucking Donald Trump looking ass, like, dude in the second Captain America movie, that's a good villain. Like, I don't even remember his name. Like, if anyone can tell me his name without Googling it, and this is on the honor system, so you gotta be honest. You gotta do it for me, guys. You gotta do it for me. You have my trust. If anyone can tell me that villain's name without looking it up, go ahead. Was it like Pierce or something? Now I'm actually starting to remember. It might have been like Pierce. I may have just shot myself in the foot with that one. But nevertheless, you almost had a cogent point, but no, you didn't.
we're constantly told that he's some genius biological computer who knows what you're going to do weeks before you do it, his actions in the movie absolutely don't bear this out. He's constantly proven wrong and outsmarted by Cap.
Hold on. Is this... This is like... Okay. I get that they didn't show the villain in the trailers a lot. You probably had to, like, record this from something else, but, like, come the fuck on. There's, like, blurred out watermarks and subtitles everywhere. This is amateur shit. Like, you couldn't... Like, I would have rather you have just gotten, like, a JPEG of the character for the comics, but that would have required you to edit at least a little bit competently and, like, maybe get a bit creative. But no, you needed to take that time for the Dumb and Dumber shit joke. So, yeah, good on you, buddy.
Captain Black Ant Falcon Man, and by the end of the film, he just kind of gives up and calls it a day. Again, the maxim that a character is only as smart as their right.
No, he doesn't just give up. He like he gets himself arrested, but like he realizes he's like thoroughly he can't succeed, but like he can still ruin Ross. He can still ruin Thunderbolt Ross's reputation by turning him into the Hulk. Like that was his goal. This man does not give a fuck about like what happens to him. He just wants to see Ross burn. He's not a very complex character, which makes it very confusing how you still couldn't grasp that, because like Captain America Brave New World, not a very subtle movie. Like it is on the tier of like Sonic the Hedgehog 3, where it's like it is a pretty cool movie. It does not let you do a lot of thinking for yourself. It is very tell don't show. And I think for this, as a big dumb superhero movie, I don't really care. But like if you can't even comprehend that, maybe you should not be reviewing movies for a living.
Writer remains undefeated. By all accounts, not only was this film reshot multiple times, but the runtime was also drastically cut back at the 11th hour, which probably explains why characters like Giant Brain Man get little development.
Okay, I am so glad this movie was short. Like I already had shit to do like after the movie, but like if this movie was over, like if this movie was like 2.5 hours long, I think I would have hated it so much more. Like this is my message to modern Hollywood. I'm about to go full critical drinker on all of you because I apparently have influence on the industry because I made a shitty TV pilot based off my hack Jason Bourne knockoff books. Here is my take on modern Hollywood. Stop making your movies more than 2.5 hours long. Like, hour and a half is fine. 2 hours, it's a little long. 2.5 hours, okay, you're starting to lose me. 3 hours, please stop. Like, if you really have something to say within that 3 hours, go for it. The Batman is long as hell, and I don't even like Batman that much, but I like that movie quite a bit. But so many Marvel movies especially need to drag things out so much. And I think Marvel movies are best when they are short and sweet. I think the worst Marvel properties are the ones that are like way too long for what they are. Like I think Eternals was really boring and way too long. Like obviously Infinity War and Endgame are cool movies, but I think a lot of the worst MCU movies are just if they were like an hour and a half, they'd be fine. And if this movie was over 2 hours, I would have fucking killed myself. Like, I could not have done that because this movie does not need to be that long. I am so glad this movie has brevity. Like, if anything, I feel like it was still a bit too long because the final act does kind of drag out a bit. But I do like the final battle is very short. It's very brief, but it utilizes Sam's gifts and abilities in interesting ways. Like that was something I liked about the movie. I think when you replace a famous character, when you do that with the superhero, there's always a sense that they are going to be a lesser version. And that is how Critical Drinker sees Captain America in this movie. That's how a lot of weird people see Miles Morales. And I like that this movie shows us that Sam Wilson is not Steve Rogers. Not just in that, like, oh, he is the Black Captain America. No, he has a pretty cool line where he kicks Gus Breaking Bad and like stabs him at one point. And like Gus Breaking Bad, he's like, you'll never be Steve Rogers. And he digs the knife into him a bit more. He's like, you're right. I'm not. I'm just a little bit meaner. And I think that's cool. I like that this Captain America is a bit more aggressive. I like that he has friends. I think Anthony Mackie has so much more chemistry with the cast of this movie than anyone in the Avengers. Like as in Anthony Mackie with the Avengers, because I have not been a big fan of Falcon in other MCU stuff. And I think Anthony Mackie, when you see him in interviews and behind the scenes stuff, you watch his Game Awards speech for Twisted Metal, the Twisted Metal season 2 announcement. This man has so much energy and charisma, which is what I think the MCU has been missing. And I think he's been held back severely by the rest of the cast because it's very hard to outperform someone like Robert Downey Jr. And I think this movie gave him a cast that he could bounce off of a lot better, and it helps him feel very different from Steve Rogers, because like Steve Rogers, he's an all right character, but like for a guy named Captain America, he sure does not interact with the American citizens this much. I like that Sam Wilson as Captain America has like friends, and I like that he doesn't have the super serum. I like that he has to utilize all this different technology in creative ways. Like when I first saw the vibranium wings, I was already kind of interested, and he uses them in some really cool ways that only he could have done. I like his tech. I think he's kind of cool. I don't really see the issue with he's not Steve Rogers. Like, I don't think that is really an issue because, yeah, he's not Steve Rogers. He's Sam Wilson. He is still Captain America. He stands for the same things Captain America stands for. He just fights in a different way and is black, I guess. So that gets people mad.
And it's all been left on the cutting room floor. It's the same story with Giancarlo Esposito, who the trailers played up as some criminal mastermind that was going to test Captain Black Ant Falcon Man to his limits. In reality, he's just a basic bitch hired gun who appears in like 3 scenes, and watching a not particularly fit man in his mid-60s trying to hold his own in a fight against Anthony Mackie just made me feel embarrassed for both actors.
Okay. Every time he makes a somewhat cogent point, he keeps going and he ruins it. But I do think that Gus Breaking Bad was extremely, maybe not extremely underused. I don't even think he was underused. I think it was just they hyped him up a lot more. Because, like, I mean, I get why this movie doesn't have the biggest cast. Like, it doesn't have the hugest cast. Like, Anthony Mackie is a famous actor, but he's not like a household name. Harrison Ford and Gus Breaking Bad, those are people that everyone knows. So I get why they hyped him up. But I was very surprised by how little he's in the movie. I do not think he is like some basic bitch gunman. Like the few scenes he does have, he makes an impression. Like he's able to hold his own against Sam in a fight. He gets really creative with how he like tries to take him down. There was one scene where he shows up that actually like kind of jump scared me. Like it was actually kind of cool. And like once again, like thinly veiled ageism, like it's fictional. It's fictional. Like who cares? Like what do you mean? Like oh, I can't believe this guy was able to take Captain America in a fight. Like, sorry, Critical Drinker wouldn't have. That was inaccurate. He wouldn't have referred to him as Captain America because he's a hack. But I don't know. It's like. When I go watch a movie and there's a guy who isn't a super buff white man fighting, the first thing I think of isn't usually, wait, how does he hold his own against the protagonist? Fucking terrible movie. I can't believe this shit. Like who fucking cares? It's the fucking Peter Griffin meme all over again.
Mackie himself does his best with the wildly inconsistent material he's got to work with. His basic character arc is similar to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a man conflicted about who he's working for and unsure about whether he's the right guy for the job. In the hands of better writers, and assuming it hadn't already been done in a TV show already, the story of a successor struggling to fill the hole left by a legendary hero and find his own path forward might have made for a decent character arc. Here, though, it just feels forced and repetitive, trying to manufacture a character conflict that's already been resolved.
I can understand that, actually. It wasn't an issue for me because I do not give a fuck about that TV show and haven't really watched any of it since it came out. Like it wasn't fresh on my mind, but I could see that as a valid criticism. I'll give credit there. Now let's see how he ruins it with like a joke about how Meghan Trainor doesn't have a fat enough ass anymore.
And loading him down with ridiculous levels of technology that can do almost anything makes him feel more like Iron Man than Captain America. Like if
And there's the caveat. Yeah, I already went over how I feel about the technology stuff and how he fights. I don't feel the need to repeat myself there. Just keep going.
Turn him into something that doesn't even vaguely resemble the hero he's replacing, then why even call him Captain America in the first place? Then
Because he is Captain America. God, I wish I waited to just start talking about the movie, because like I could have just reacted to that. Like he is Captain America. Like Miles Morales is still Spider-Man, even if he has like a thunder sword. Like having slightly different powers. First off, the only superpower Captain America had was super strength and shield. Like, in fact, and like, who even fucking cares about the super strength? Like, the shield is what people know Captain America for. As far as I'm aware, you can go wild with whatever you want after. Like, obviously, if you give him like, oh, now he can shoot lasers from his eyes, and like he gets psychokinesis like Scarlet Witch. Like, yeah, that would be kind of ridiculous. But these are supposed to be like spy thrillers that they like Tom Cruise uses like a bunch of crazy technology, like, and we know how much you fucking love Mission Impossible and other hack movies. What? Who said that? But yeah, I don't even care anymore. Time to hear him talk about Israel, and for me to skip over that part because I don't feel qualified to talk about that.
there's the small child pretending to be a secret agent whose name I totally forget because it's only mentioned like once in passing. A character who I guess once had a much bigger role in this film, kind of like Natasha in Winter Soldier, only definitely not as hot.
Is this man married? If this guy is critical drinker married. He has been married to Susan Jane McDonald since August 2009. Okay. Imagine being married, you make YouTube videos for a living, and you are fucking gooning over Scarlett Johansson, and you're being upset that not every woman is as hot as her. Like, I don't give a fuck about the satire thing. Like, I know a lot of people, a lot of critical drinker stands are going to say, oh, he's just satire. He's not really sexist. No, if you are making like genuine critiques of the movie, which he is, because not all of these are even, not everything he's even saying is invalid. I think a good amount of, like in a vacuum, I think a lot of these criticisms are fair, but you can't be that guy and still like be like Scarlett Johansson is so hot, I'm gonna bust all over my computer screen. Like, you need to stop. I've seen his Twitter account, and I've seen him be super weird about so many different actresses, and it's just gross. It's gross. Like you have a wife who is like, if she married you, she's clearly not asexual. Fucking nut before you make your videos, my guy. Nut before you write, please.
But as it stands, I've got no idea how I'm supposed to feel about her because there's really nothing to like or dislike here. She barely even has any dialogue, never mind a personality or character arc. And if I was a cynical man, I'd say that her Israeli background might have had something to do with it. Likewise,
Yeah, I'm not touching that one. I am not Palestinian or of Palestinian heritage. My grandfather is Jewish, but I am not Jewish myself. It is not my place to talk about that. We are moving on because I am not touching that at all.
the totally implausible David and Goliath war between America and Japan when China would have been a much more plausible rival. But then
the David and Goliath, describe it. Okay, first off, describing America and Japan's relationship as David and Goliath is just a very strange metaphor because, for one, I'm not super familiar with the Bible lore. I have not brushed up on my Bible lore. I'm not. That is not my. I'm more of a Bleach guy myself. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't the story, like, I'm assuming in this, he is referring to Japan as David and America as Goliath because America is the bigger military force. Apparently, I don't know. I maybe it is. It probably is, but I also don't care because I'm normal. So, assuming Japan is the little teeny tiny David and America is Goliath, isn't the point of the story that David wins that fight? Hold on a second. Does David kill Goliath? Yes. He kills Goliath with a sling and stone, according to fucking Google AI overview. But like, you get the point. Like, what is this metaphor? Like, if you were gonna say like, oh yeah, the story of like how this story of like let's say the movie had like instead of Japan, it was like what's the smallest country in the world? Vatican City versus if it was Vatican City trying to take control of adamantium in this movie over America, then that would be a David and Goliath war. But it's not, because like, for starters, Japan doesn't win in this. America doesn't either, but that's not. You just wanted to sound smart and appeal to the right-wing Christian weirdos in your audience. Also, I just love the idea that's like, this movie's too fucking pussy for me. I can't believe they had him fight someone as small as Japan. They should have gone up against China. That would have been more relevant. That would have been more topical. I always say I want escapism in my movies, but I wish this was a movie about how America beat the shit out of China because they're bigger and stronger than us, but we have heart like Rocky. Like, God, what happened to that accent? I'm turning into fucking Thor. Just the idea that like this movie was too pussy for him because he had to watch America fight Japan instead of something like China or Russia. Shit, I muted it.
Again, we wouldn't want to offend one of Disney's biggest potential markets now, would we? And I guess that's the fundamental problem when your storytelling philosophy is basically, let's push whatever ideas are current, safe, focus group tested, and politically correct. Sometimes the culture and the policy
Nothing statement. There's
shift quicker than your films can catch up to them, and the more you scramble to rewrite and reshape them, the more you hollow out their artistic integrity until there's basically nothing left.
There was very little that was political about this movie. Does it use a lot of blockbuster tropes? Yes. So does every blockbuster, whether it's good or bad. These are all products inspired by tropes and the monomyth. Like, none of these are unique movies. All that really should matter is if they are interesting or not. I think Brave New World is interesting. I don't think it executes every idea gracefully, but I think it does everything fine enough. I think I had a good time watching it, which, if you know me, someone who is not a Captain America or Falcon enjoyer, like, this was pretty cool. I like this movie fine. It's 7 out of 10, whatever. I can also perfectly understand if you did not like this movie. I think the special effects are actually okay for like the first half, and then they kind of slowly get worse. I think the villain is a bit messy, and some characters like the new Falcon are kind of underutilized. It can be very tonally jarring at times. It can be corny when it's not trying to be. Yeah, I don't think it's a perfect movie, but like, I think this is way more interesting than like most of the MCU movies that have come out. Not a high bar, I know, but I don't know. I think this is like, so much of this is just making up things to be annoyed about. Because yes, this movie is like a soulless Hollywood product, but so is like every Hollywood movie like nowadays. Like that is the norm. And I've learned to accept that and enjoy things for what they are. Captain America Brave New World is not high art. It is just kind of a fun spy movie, and that is about it. It's got a solid script, some decent performances. Harrison Ford was surprisingly really good. I really thought he was going to be phoning it in, but he's actually not that bad. I kind of like him in this movie. But yeah, this is not the most hollow movie. And I don't give a shit about whatever else he has to say, because we got like a minute left, and it's probably going to be some unfunny sex joke or something, or like some thinly veiled racism. If this is soulless, if this is a soulless movie, let's see the movies he does like. Let's see. Of course, he's still fucking talking about The Acolyte. It was a shit show. No one watched. Move on, my guy. Oh, wait, no. That's why he can't move on. He's excited for Daredevil Born Again, which I guarantee will probably just be the same as all the MCU stuff. Squid Game 2. It's not Hollywood, but it is mainstream entertainment. It is. Now, admittedly, I have not seen Squid Game Season 2, and Season 1, from what I've heard, is actually very good. But, like, this isn't, like this... You know what? I'm not even going to say anything about Squid Game, because I don't think I'm qualified to talk about it. Of course, he's being weird about The Last of Us and Underage Girls. Nosferatu, I've actually heard that's good. Damn, I am not doing myself any favors. But let's see. What else? What does Critical Drinker like? You know what? He has a series. I remember now. Here, we can filter it out. Critical Drinker recommends. He has one called The Drinker Recommends. And
Normally,
what does he got? The Boys, Cobra Kai, Chernobyl, Event Horizon. I mean, I love Event Horizon, and I'd love to look at that video because I think that could be funny. Let's just say I think we like Event Horizon for very different reasons, knowing you. Falling Down, 1917, Ford versus Ferrari, Predator, Unforgiven, Blade Runner, Jaws, Dread, Fight Club, The Expanse, Invincible, Arcane, No Way Home, Whiplash, Everything Everywhere, Top Gun Maverick, shit movie by the way, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Whale, Boiling Point. Like, do you see the fucking problem? Like, all of this is like either mainstream Hollywood stuff or like Oscar bait. And I'm not even saying any of these are bad, because most of these are actually quite good, and have meaningful stuff to say. But to say that, like, oh, Captain America, that's the exception now. I like real media. Like, why don't you go watch something that doesn't have at least $1 billion in its budget? Go fucking watch, like, go to a film festival, my guy. Yeah, go read a book that doesn't have Tom Clancy on it. Like, consume other media, because this is like the most pathetic list of like the good shit I could have seen. Like, this guy does not watch a lot of movies. There's literally an interview with him of why people are liking Japanese and Eastern media more than modern Hollywood stuff lately. And he's talking about movies that have come out in the East that have had more of an influence recently. This interview was in like 2020 or something. And his fucking examples are Old Boy and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Those movies are over 2 decades old. That is how out of touch this man is. But yeah. Go see Captain America if you want, or don't. I really don't give a shit. You know what? Actually, like, if you do see it, like, whether you see it or not, just go out, enjoy life. Don't spend Valentine's Day at 11:15 p.m. in your fucking like hot ass apartment, destroying your throat as you yell about an Irishman. Go consume some good ass media. Go find something you've never heard anyone talk about, because who knows, maybe that'll be your new favorite thing. You never know. All I know is if you keep subjecting yourself to stuff you don't like, then like you're gonna become a loser. You become someone like this guy who he can only write knockoff Tom Clancy books and talk about how movies aren't as good as they used to be. And by movies, I mean big stuff from Disney and Warner Bros. So just go out, go do stuff, be a person. have a very nice night. Have a good time.